Okay, good morning. My name is Craig Stedman. I'm the District Attorney in Lancaster County. Here to announce charges in the homicide death of Ashley Kline against Adam Lynch, date of birth 12/19/1992, and Ryan Shanauer, June 1st of 1994. Of course, both of those individuals are presumed innocent. I'll talk about the charges in a minute. Just to introduce the people up here. To my right, Chief Dave Steffen, Northern Regional Police Department, was within his jurisdiction. The case, Assistant District Attorney Chris Lechner, who is the supervisor of the Major Crimes Unit and worked on this case since we got the case. We have Captain Dante Orlandi from Troop L, Pennsylvania State Police Commander, Lieutenant Raymond Guth, who's the supervisor of the Criminal Investigative Unit for Troop L and managed this investigation, and Lieutenant Jeremy Richard from Troop J, Pennsylvania State Police. So the Pennsylvania State Police have filed the charges in this terrible and tragic case. Just to go over a little bit of the history of it and where we are today to fill you in. The charges that we filed are homicide on each individual, arson on each individual, and abuse of a corpse, as well as conspiracy charges for each one of those counts. This investigation began first day of this year when Ashley Kline was reported missing by her family. She had not been seen since the evening of December 30th, 2013. Through the investigation, it was determined that the last person that had seen her had been her somebody in her past, Ryan Shanauer, who was reportedly her friend. It changed a little bit direction, and one of the clues that sort of started to break things was on January the 2nd. The East Cocalco Police Department responded to some information at the Bowman Hat Company in Adamstown, and at that time they found some possessions that were Ashley Kline's, including a card that had her identity on it. So that was a clue that we began to work with, but of course it took some time, and the state police eventually got the case, and then were actively investigating this from the moment they got it. Her body was discovered January 12th in the afternoon at the Middle Creek Wildlife Preserve in Clay Township, Lancaster County. The body had been badly burned, which is why we were not able to identify her. I talked to some of you a few days ago, and we were unable to identify her because of the condition of the body. That was made through dental records, through the Lancaster County Coroner and Dr. Richard Graff, who's a forensic odontologist. The cause of death she was stabbed to death, as well as the burning. The Pennsylvania State Police, working with all the agencies, including our Lancaster County Major Crimes Unit forensic team, who actually processed the scene, then proceeded to do what they had already sort of been working on, was a victimology and looking into the background of our victim, Ms. Kline, and developed individuals that had been in contact with her last, particularly Ryan Shanauer. And eventually, through their work, and there's a lot more information and a lot more evidence out there that we did not include in the affidavit, but the police have obtained that, and eventually sat down and talked to Adam Lynch and Ryan Shanauer about what happened to Ms. Kline. And the versions differ. I've handed out to you the affidavits, and you can read the particulars yourself. But in essence, when you put them together, what happened was that she got in the car with Mr. Lynch and Mr. Shanauer, and was being driven around at different locations. And at some point in time, and depending on which paragraph in the affidavit and who you would like to follow, she gets assaulted, stabbed, forced out of the car. She was, this is in the proximity of where her body was found, forced back into the woods of the wildlife preserve, and while she was alive, they doused her with gasoline and lit her on fire. Obviously, this is particularly vicious and gruesome crime, and we have a job to do to make sure that justice is done for the people that did this terrible crime. As I said, and you can glean from the affidavit, who exactly did what is within some question. What is beyond clear from what the police have developed is they both participated in the intentional killing of Ms. Kline through stabbing and then lighting her on fire. After she was killed on the 8th of January, they returned to the scene and in an effort to further obliterate her identity, and so that we couldn't find out who it was, burned her again. And it did cause a temporary, obviously, delay in our ability to identify. So that's what's led us to today, and the filing these charges. I would commend all the individuals up here and all the ones that aren't behind me that worked on this case tirelessly over the past few days. This is a swift resolution as far as an arrest goes, and I'm certainly congratulate the state police for their work, and Mr. Lechner for working hard with them. But this really is just the beginning. As I said, they're presumed innocent. They're not convicted of anything. These are the allegations. We have a lot of work to do. We filed the charges, and there are people working on it right now. The other thing I would say is I still believe that there are people out there that have information important to this case and can provide that information, and I encourage them to contact the Pennsylvania State Police and provide it. There's a history that we'll be looking into all three of these individuals, and would request the assistance of everyone involved to make sure that the right thing is done for this horrible case. I would say that that cases like this are obviously extremely disturbing, but our decisions and what we're going to do are very based on the facts and based on the law. And it's pretty clear that the Pennsylvania State Police have guided this in the correct direction and done extremely well in a very short period of time. And but again, we've got a long road ahead of us, and we'll go from there. I will say that I had talked to you, a number of you, a few days ago, and you had asked at that time about providing more information about the condition of the body and what she looked like and how she died. And this is exactly why we tend to withhold details like that, so that now we know. We never released that her body had been burned. We never released that she had been stabbed. We did that intentionally. And then when we have individuals come forward and admit those facts, the only way they can know this is if they actually participated in the crime, or the person that had participated had told them. And that's the reason that we do that. And I appreciate your patience and understanding when we say those things. But this is a classic example of exactly why we do that. So at this time, what I'll do is turn it over for any comments from Captain Orlandi, and then I'll return for any questions that you have.
Good morning. Again, my name is Dante Orlandi. I'm the commanding officer of Troop L Reading. Some of my comments will just be a repeat of what the district attorney had already said. For clarity's sake, I'll just repeat some of the stuff. It's never easy when a community faces such senseless violence, so our thoughts and prayers go out to the victim's family. On January 1st, Ashley Kline was reported to the West Berks Regional Police Department as a missing person by her father, Michael Kline. He was concerned because his daughter had not been seen or heard from in several days. Ashley was last seen leaving her home in Robizonia in Berks County during the evening of December 30th. On January 2nd, the East Pocalico Police Department responded to the Bowman Hat Company located in Adamstown for the report of a found purse inside the company's water retention pond. The items contained in the purse were connected to Ashley Kline. After the connection was made, investigation was started. On Wednesday, 8th, Pennsylvania State Police was contacted and began an investigation into the disappearance of Ashley Kline. On January 12th at approximately 4 p.m., a female body was discovered in the wooded area off of Laurel Drive, Clay Township, Lancaster County. The body was badly burned. An autopsy determined the body had been stabbed in the back and was set on fire and was ruled a homicide. The body was identified as Ashley Kline through dental records. The investigation revealed that sometime in the evening of December 30th, Adam Lynch and Ryan Sean Nauer picked up Ashley Kline at or near her home. At some point later in the evening, the two accused drove the victim to a remote area off of Laurel Drive, Clay Township. Ryan and Adam forcibly removed Ashley Kline from the vehicle as she struggled with him. Ashley was subsequently stabbed multiple times and then doused with gasoline and was set on fire, and the two fled the scene. I just want to take a moment to thank all the members that were involved in this. Members from Troop J at Lancaster, all the local police departments, district attorney's offices that were involved in this. And I don't think that we could have had such a quick resolution to this investigation if it weren't for the close cooperation between all these agencies. Before I answer any questions, I'll allow anybody else to, anybody else?
The only thing I would say is that it is a team effort, and everybody's understanding that our goal is justice and to speak for the victim and to assure a successful prosecution is the goal of any criminal investigation, and teamwork counts.
Yeah, I think it is important. Obviously, it's a little bit of a unique case in that originally it was Berks County authorities, and we had a local municipal department. Then we had the state police from Bell. Then we had Chief Stephan and his police department. And then we had Troop J as well from Lancaster. And really everybody worked together and combined with our major crimes unit. And that is the goal. And I think Chief Stephan's absolutely right that the one thing that we're united on, regardless of department, regardless of uniform, and regardless of district attorney's office, is that we'll make sure that we work for the victim and we make sure that we bring her killers to justice. And that's the job that we've got to do going forward. So, any questions?
Mr. Stedman, did the men plan to kill her and burn her before picking her up?
Well, I don't know whether you had a chance to read the affidavit. Some of it, there are differences in the accounting about what the plans were beforehand. Clearly they had a gas can, clearly they had a knife. That's, I think, a question that will be presenting to the jury when it comes time for that they're charged with intentional murder, and that's what we're going to prove. There's a difference between what they're saying and why they're saying they picked her up. What's clear is, really, with all accounts, is that she was intentionally killed through stabbing and burning, and however it started, from our point of view, is not as important as the way it ended up, and it ended up with the senseless loss of her life.
And would you say there was a sexual assault or at least intercourse that took place before the altercation?
Again, there's a variance in the accounts. That's a possibility that obviously we'll continue to investigate. There are no charges to that effect at this point in time. One of the issues that we face, obviously, is what remains of the body, and that issue may be problematic going forward, but it's I would say the answer would be it's an open question at this point in time.
Do you know what the arrangement was from Kline's perspective? Did she believe that these were friends picking her up, they were going to go out, have a good time? I mean, what did they tell her?
Our belief at this point in time is that she was not taken against her will initially. Obviously we can't speak to her, But I think that's the most I could say. Clearly, the thought process was different between them.
Can you speak to the nature of their relationship? Were both longtime friends through school, friends through family?
I know that Mr. Shanauer had known her for some time. Did Mr. Lynch know her for years?
Not well.
Okay. Mr. Lynch did not know her well. So the connection is the other one.
These guys are 20, they're young. Is this, I know this is a shocking crime of any age, but I mean, these are young guys. Is this shocking to you?
Well, all homicides are terrible, and all homicides are shocking to some degree. The particularly vicious level that they took it to in this case by lighting a living person on fire. Fortunately, we don't see that very often, and it's going to certainly focus our resources in the outcome of this case.
How hard is it to try one of these cases? You know, a burned body, hard to gain evidence. How do you go about all this?
Well, each case is different, and each case rises and falls on the evidence that we have. Every case, even what may seem simple, presents its own challenges. And remember that right now, we're very early on in this investigation. They have a lot more to do, and quite frankly, this came together faster than even I would have anticipated. So, but we follow the evidence, and the state police were able to get us to the point where charges are appropriate. And I think some of those other questions will be for the finder of fact, and going forward. And again, the case will become stronger as we move forward.
You mentioned her body was found in the game lands. Was it found by police, or was it found by somebody walking by?
Two civilians. Anything else?
Craig, what was she stabbed with, and do you guys have the knife?
No comment on the second part of that. It was an edged weapon. This knife is what both versions are saying. Obviously, we have to investigate it. I mean, that's what we're being told at this point in time, and that would be consistent with what I understand from the coroner. That would have been the cause of death.
The differences in narratives seem like they're turning on each other. Are they giving up information on the other person that you can't get out of them individually?
I don't think it's for me to characterize sort of their statements. What it is for us is to say they both have given their versions of what event, how it transpired, and they have both admitted to conduct that would constitute criminal homicide. Whether the one is stabbing, the one is pouring the gas on, the one is lighting it on fire, under the law, it doesn't matter. If you share the intent and you're causing the death, you're just as criminally responsible, and as it should be. Obviously, it doesn't matter really to the victim which one's pouring the gasoline on and which one's lighting it. I mean, it's horrific, and that's why it's treated equally under the law.
How did the arrests go? Are these guys easy to find and bring in?
Yes.
And where are they from?
Mr. Lynch is from Reading, and Mr. Shanauer is from Wyoming.
And
Mr. Lynch had lived previously in Lancaster County, is my understanding, but I don't have that address.
And are they in Lancaster County prison right now?
Yes. And there would be no bail in this case. They'd be held without bail and pending a preliminary hearing.
What do you believe the significance of Adamstown, the hat factory location is? Do you think they tried to dump her there and just couldn't get it done there? Or what?
No. We don't have any evidence at this point that they attempted to dump her there. I will extend my gratitude to the Bowman Hat Company for their cooperation on this, because they were very easy to work with and very cooperative, and obviously it took like a day. I think you were out there draining those retention pools, and we really have, they deserve our gratitude for their assistance. But we don't have any evidence at this point in time whatsoever that her body was anywhere but where in the vicinity she was killed, in the vicinity where she was found, that they attempted to move it. Obviously, different individuals, they don't want to be caught, and there's evidence that could be discarded.
Would you characterize that as her pocketbook, her purse that you found there?
Yeah, I was told hers.
Okay.
I mean, there was
With her ID in it.
identifying information that was specific to her. It was definitely her possession.
And do either of those boys have any connection to the Bowman Hat Company, or that was just a body of water that they found? They don't.
Yeah, I'm
nobody
unaware
works
of any
there,
connection
nobody-
whatsoever to the hat company. I was saying there isn't, but that's not been brought to my attention, and I don't think there is. But I can't tell you 100%.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody?
Do either of the suspects have any criminal history?
That's not something that we're permitted to discuss.
When's their first court date?
I don't know the answer to that question. They would be scheduled within 10 days. They're supposed to be given a preliminary hearing date. Typically, that's continued for them to get typically they ask for a lawyer, and usually that's continued. So if it's is this Tony Russell? Is that where it is?
Yeah.
That's where okay. So in his office, Magisterial District Justice Tony Russell, his office would know when the date is. Okay, thanks a lot.
Good job, guys.